All right. All right. All right. Well, we've been waiting for this day for a long time. Some of us for other reasons, but I think we've all been ready no matter what side of the fandom or the mania that was this whole Baker Mayfield thing was. Now we have ended up on the other side of it. We are finally in the next chapter of it. Baker Mayfield, it is as official can be. He has been traded to the Carolina Panthers for what has been reported to be a conditional fifth round pick in 2024. Okay. You know what I mean? The compensation is not great. I'm going to tell you that one straight up. The compensation is not great or mind blowing or anything of super interest. But, you know, at least there is compensation, right? Because we were looking at this for a while as something that could go without compensation. So there is at least that, right? So that has happened. Now, there has been some of us have been holding on to this hope that Baker Mayfield was somehow going to play. By the way, we got a $5 super chat from Chris Gustafaro. Says all of a sudden a ton of OU fans like the Panthers. Yeah, they're probably going to go with their boy, right? There are some people like Browns fans that do like legitimately love Baker. I think that's because the bar is a little low, but you know, there are those, right? It's not all just OU fans. There are a lot of stands that originated from Cleveland with Baker Mayfield. But yeah, this thing's happened. A conditional fifth round pick. Again, the trade value on him was low. The leverage on him was low. I think the more interesting thing, right? I don't think the Browns really cared as much about the pick as they did about the money. We will see, right, what happens with the money. We will see. I know the deal's still pending a physical and everything else. We will see what happens there. But this should not be a surprise to anybody. Because I think the only reason this has caught some people off guard, I guess, is because some people had this idea that Baker Mayfield would still be an option for the Cleveland Browns. So the Cleveland Browns were somewhat waiting for the Watson situation to be cleared up to decide if they wanted to trade Baker Mayfield. The second the Browns decided they wanted to go after Deshaun Watson was the second that they decided that Baker Mayfield's time in Cleveland was either going to be up this year or right now, right? That is the truth of it. That is the reality of this situation, right? The second that Baker Mayfield was not traded in that Deshaun Watson package made things very, very difficult for the Cleveland Browns. And he was not going to play for this team, straight up. And they found that they would rather go with Jacoby Brissett. Now, I know some people have an issue with that. I don't really have that big of an issue with going with Brissett. If this is worst case scenario, if it's going to be a year, we don't know what's going to happen with that whole suspension situation. That roller coaster has been riding up and down as far as how many games it might be. I still don't think anybody really knows, so I have no idea. On that note, Sean P. with the super chat says, do you think the Browns go with Jimmy G if Watson is suspended for a whole year? The Browns have already made their decision. If Watson's suspended for a whole year, they're going to wait this out with Jacoby Brissett. I don't know why people keep bringing up other quarterbacks at this point. They have found that Jacoby Brissett is who they want to go with. That's it. Whether you like it or not. If Watson is suspended for a year, it was never going to be Baker. It's not going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. It is going to be Jacoby Brissett. They feel fine with that. I feel fine with that for many reasons. And that is what it is. All right. So what I wanted to do on this stream is kind of talk about the trade, talk about what we hope the compensation could be, what the reports are on this. And also we'll recap some of Baker's time here and talk about what's next. But that is what it is. Let's talk about Baker's career here, right? Because I know there are a lot of people still attached to Baker Mayfield. Let's talk about the career. I don't want to say legacy because I don't think he was good enough to have a legacy here. I think he had a couple of good years here, right? So Baker Mayfield came to the Browns in the 2018 draft along with Nick Chubb and Denzel Ward. And Jarvis Landry came in free agency. That team took a tremendous jump by design from the 2017 team, right? One thing that people mention with Baker that I think is a little bit unfair to everybody else on the team is, well, Baker should pass his physical. I know somebody just asked that. No, Baker should pass his physical because he's fully healthy now. He's fully healthy. So in 2018, right, people kind of said that the team got better because of Baker, and Baker was a part of that, but the team really got better because that's when they started spending money in free agency. Remember, 2017, 2016, I know they weren't officially tanking, but they were tanking, right? They were doing stuff not to win football games. 2018 was the year that they decided they were going to try to win football games. They won 7 games. You know, still not over 500, but a competitive team. And when you were used to going 0-16, that competitive team felt good. 2019, the expectations were risen above being competitive, right? They wanted a playoff team, did not deliver in 2019. You could blame that on Freddie Kitchens. You could blame that on a bunch of different factors. But the long and short of it is that Baker Mayfield was the number 1 overall pick. Baker Mayfield, for whatever reason, for whatever excuse you want to give him, did not deliver in 2019. That became a strike against him. Right? With some people, it became a strike against him. And you can't tell me that strike's not valid. You cannot hold it against him if you don't want to, but other people have their right to do that because it's a valid reason if you underperform for a whole season. Whether you think it's one thing or the other, Baker Mayfield still underperformed. We got a $2 super chat from Joey M. $2 says, do you think Baker will start week 1 over Darnold? I would start Baker over Darnold, but we'll see what they'll do. The Carolina Panthers are an interesting organization. I have no idea how to predict what they're going to do. All right, so there's that, right? 2020 comes around, and a lot of people like to forget he was kind of up and down those first 6 games of 2020. He was not really that good. He was right? He was better than he was in 2019, but he was awful in 2019. And then the last 8 games of the season, he picked it up, right? After the bye week, he picked it up, played much better, and looked like a guy that you could build around, right? And the ideal that offseason was, hey, if Baker Mayfield makes a jump in this offseason and gets much better, we might have a real quarterback on our hands. We might be able to have somebody we could build around. Let's throw everything at it. That's what they did in 2021, built a great roster around it, defense, everything, put it all together around Baker Mayfield, and it all fell apart. Now, part of that was due to injury, right? I don't think as much as the failure on the field was due to injury, as a lot of people like to make it out to be. You know, I think he just stunk. I think he made poor decisions. I think he just was not good at quarterback position for a while, right? Part of the reason he was bad wasn't because he was physically limited. Part of the reason he was bad is because mentally he just was being outplayed by defenses, by defensive coordinators, by other linebackers, by other DBs, which caused him to make bad decisions. Alexander Bly says, predict Stump Mitchell stats for your season. You trying to force that Stump Mitchell meme in there. Look, man, we going to fit Stump Mitchell in here, but you got to wait till it fixes. I appreciate the super chat, though, Alexander, but we got to wait. You got to wait till it makes sense. You can't just force it in there. Wait for the right moment. I'm trying to get your meme game up a little bit. We got to wait for the right moment for the Stump memes because you kill the memes when you don't do them correctly. So let's just be more precautious because them Stump memes are precious. All right, so we get to 2021, has a bad year. You can blame it on multiple different factors. Fact is that Baker Mayfield has been here 4 years. He has been over 500 one time in 4 years. Both seasons where the Browns have had expectations to be a playoff contender, 2019 and 2021. He has been part of an underperforming unit. Offensively, it was time to move on. It was time to move on with Odell. It was time to move on with Baker Mayfield, right? Those were the 2 main players in that core that consistently underperformed every time this team had Super Bowl aspirations, was Odell Beckham and Baker Mayfield. The Browns have moved on from both of them officially. It's just as simple as that. You don't get that many opportunities to fail when the expectations are high in the NFL, and that is what it is. And that's why the Browns decided they were going to move on. That's why the team decided they were going to move on. That's why the locker room has largely decided to move on from this whole situation. That's why the part of the fan base has moved on from the situation. I understand that a lot of fans, and by the way, got a super chat from Yeezy says, how are the cheese? Leave that boy alone about his Cheesecake Factory stuff, man. Let that boy be. All right. But I understand that part of the reason some of the fans love him is because he's been the best quarterback since Bernie Kosar. You can make that argument. I think it's a compelling enough argument that he has been better than most quarterbacks since then. But let me ask you a question. Why does that matter? If nobody has been good between Bernie Kosar and right now, if nobody has been a franchise quarterback, why does it matter if he's been better than what mediocre is? Right? That's my argument every time I hear that, is that the bar can't be garbage. The bar can't be in hell, right? You're making an argument that he's better than the bar in hell, so let's just keep it right there. That don't make any sense. That don't make any sense, right? We can argue whether Vinny Testaverde was better than Baker Mayfield. We can argue whether Tim Couch was better than Baker. We can argue whether all these guys who were never going to be great quarterbacks were better than Baker Mayfield or not better than Baker Mayfield. What does it matter? What does it matter? The only time that statement would matter if he was better than Bernie Kosar. He was not. He was never that good of a quarterback, right? He was never a franchise quarterback. He had a glimpse of being one in 2020. Never lasted longer than a few games, or not a few games, a stretch of games. The light went out. They moved on, right? The argument for this team and for this team's future can't be, well, he's better than what we've had before. Because if what you've had before was garbage, it don't matter if it's better than garbage. It really don't. It don't matter if it's better than garbage. What is the point? You don't want to be better than garbage. You want to be really good at the quarterback position, especially. You know what I mean? That's just it. That's just it. That is it. You can't tell me the Browns have this obligation to stay with Baker Mayfield because the players before Baker Mayfield were terrible. That's got nothing to do with this organization right now as they're currently constructed. It's got nothing to do with the future. You can't build your future. Oh, yeah, he's better than Baker Mayfield. Or he's better than Bernie. He's better than what? What's his name? Brandon Weeden. Better than Brandon Weeden is not good enough to stick with. And ultimately, we found out because he got traded for a conditional. Mind you, he has to meet terms for the Browns to get a 5th-round pick next year. A conditional 5th-round pick. Franchise quarterbacks don't get traded for conditional 5th-round picks. People that teams think are franchise quarterbacks don't get traded for conditional 5th-round picks. I don't care how badly you think the Browns messed this up in your opinion. I don't think it's true. I think the Browns handled this as well as they could have. But it's a conditional 5th. Is it a 4th or a 5th? Let me double check that. But I believe conditional 5th. It's a conditional 5th. That can be a 4th? What are we talking about? Nobody trades a 4th. Okay, even if it's a 4th. Nobody trades a 4th-round pick for what they feel like is a franchise quarterback. You get what I'm saying here? You know what I'm saying? You trade 1st and 2nd-round picks for a guy. Maybe you think you get him on still 3rd-round pick. But 5th and 4th? Come on, man. Come on, man. Dog Watch, will you do a live stream watch party on September 11th? I assume that's week 1. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I always have that information out closer to the season. Yeah. If some people are like, well, the Browns had no leverage. It doesn't matter if you have no leverage. If they think the guy's good, there's going to be leverage because more teams are going to want him. The reason the Browns didn't have leverage with Baker Mayfield is because nobody else wanted Baker Mayfield. That's why the Browns had no leverage. This is exactly what I'm saying. Y'all have to listen to me. If other teams wanted Baker Mayfield and believed that Baker Mayfield was a franchise quarterback, he doesn't get traded for a conditional 5th-round pick. It just doesn't happen. All right, Corey Johnson says, everybody likes to blame Baker's injury for his play, but forget he lit up the Bengals in week 9. Was his shoulder bad in that game? That's also part of the reason I'm like out on the whole Baker was injured, and that caused all of the problems. Did it cause some of the problems? Absolutely. All of the problems that we saw last year? No. Some of the overthrows, you can make the argument that was a labrum. Some of the bad decisions? Nah, you're not going to tell me that was a labrum. Because we've been seeing the bad decisions for the better part of 4 years. We've been seeing the overthrows for a better part of 4 years, right? If the issues that Baker had in 2021 were just issues he had in 2021 and no other year, nobody would have said anything else other than the injury. But the fact that he had the same issues that he's had the last 3 years, just bigger, kind of exposed things there, right? Austin says with the $5 super chat, will Baker continue to stop the Browns from winning their first game of the season? We'll see. We'll see. Who said Baker would? What is this? I don't even know what he's saying. Yeah, so that is why the Browns decided to move on. I think any other organization would have decided to move on. Now, would they have gone with Watson? A lot of them would have. A lot of them would have if they could have, because there were like 15 teams trying to do it. Now that they don't have him, all of a sudden they act like they ain't want nothing to do with it, but a bunch of them, your favorite team, you guy being critical, right? The Baker fans that are about to take the moral high ground and cheer for the Carolina Panthers, dog, they was trying to get Deshaun Watson too. Okay, I don't understand it, but there's no moral high ground in this league. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. You think one organization gonna have the moral high ground? They're all trash when it comes to their morals on this day, man. All right, but the Browns traded Baker Mayfield for a conditional fifth, according to multiple reports here. This guy says, I'm gonna be in Carolina week 1, so hype. Shout out Moose Gentry with the 50 bomb. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. See, look, this is what I can't stand. If I say something critical of Baker Mayfield, people get mad and say, oh, well, you're bashing him. I'm telling you what happened with him. If it's not good, then that just tells you he just wasn't that good. I'm not saying anything that's outside the realm of football. I'm not saying anything about who he is as a human being, as a husband, or I don't know if he has kids, but as a father, if he was a father. I ain't saying nothing about that's bashing somebody when you talk about stuff that ain't their job to be criticized on. I ain't bashing him. I'm criticizing him. Some of y'all need to pull your pants up and just understand that your favorite player can be criticized. Like, I'm tired of having to tiptoe around criticizing players because people get upset and act like I'm bashing a dude because I'm being critical of what they do, which is my job. If you want somebody who's going to feed you the Baker Mayfield propaganda and fluff Baker Mayfield up to you before the season starts, there are plenty of people on Twitter that will lie to you for free. I'm not going to lie to you about what I see. If I think somebody is playing terrible, I usually say it. I'm not the one to get here and lie to you about it. That doesn't mean I'm going to be pessimistic for pessimistic sake, right? But I'm also not about to lie. And what lying would be was being, oh, Baker was great. No, we needed to trade him. And he got traded for a 5th-round pick. There clearly were flaws. A former number 1 overall pick, after 4 years in his NFL career, gets traded for a 5th-round pick, and you're telling me being critical of that player, that value has eroded from number 1 overall pick to 5th? Me being critical of that player is somehow bashing him? Come on now. Come on now. That's ridiculous. He just got traded for a 5th-round pick. He was a number 1 overall pick. That tells you everything you need to know that that other teams did not think he was good. I'm not alone in this opinion. Arcadius Sports says, would it be worth it to flex Browns Panthers primetime? Baker versus former team. Browns Panthers play week 1. You can't even flex it. Can't flex to like week 8 or something like that. Week 6 or week 8. Right? And the crazy thing is, the Browns traded a former number 1 overall pick for a 5th-round pick, right? A conditional 5th-round pick. And somehow some of us, and I'm not saying we're wrong for feeling this way because I kind of feel this way. Some of us actually feel like they got off good, that they got good value. You got to hold your, if you're going to be a fan of Baker Mayfield, be a fan of Baker Mayfield. But do him a favor, hold him accountable to his own play because he believes the bullshit that you tell him. And that ain't helping him no good. That ain't helping him no good. Big Daddy Dub says, I feel bad for Carolina. Wanted Watson, got Baker. They wanted Watson. They wanted Matt Ryan. They ended up with Baker Mayfield, man. You know? You know what I mean? That is what it is. Like, it's a cold game at the end of the day, right? Daryl Hairston with the $2 super chat, maker of Mayfield, finally gone. Yes, sir. You know what I mean? Hey, look, we can celebrate in about a few years once this is all past, the Baker Mayfield highs and all that. But we need to stop acting like Baker was the main person making shit happen in 2020. Right? Why do we do this? Baker was good in 2020, but it was Nick Chubb. It was Kareem Hunt too. It was the best offensive line in football. Right? He did a lot with that passing game because he didn't have a lot around him when it came to the wide receivers. But if you want to act like Baker Mayfield was the reason the Browns beat the Steelers like that, no, that defense really got him ahead early in the game, about 28 points, put him in great field position. The offense capitalized, but the offense didn't have to overcome a great deal of amount of anything to win that game. Honestly, the defense didn't. The Pittsburgh Steelers just kind of fumbled the game away in the first quarter. And then we capitalized and won the game. But it wasn't this tremendous effort from anybody on the team. It was more or less the Steelers just kind of fumbled the whole game. Right? Like, it is what it is. And I don't understand why anybody is making any definitive statement one way or the other on the Watson suspension. The truth is nobody knows. When you hear people on the news talking about Watson might be suspended 4 to 10 games. 4 to 10 games. That's not a real range. That is telling you, Vincencio asks us if we pick up Sue. I don't think they're ever going to pick up Sue. I don't think they prioritize that position enough. Right. I've been critical of their lack of priority on the interior defensive line. I don't think that changes with the Baker trade. Right. I just don't. Yeah. Thank you for the question, though, Vin. But yeah, I just don't. Yeah. So we can try to speak definitively, but when you have people on the news talking about some 4 to 10, 4 to 12, nobody knows. When the ranges are that big, that means nobody actually knows. It could be a year. It could be 4 games. It could be nothing. And again, I do think this team's win-loss record with Jacoby Brissett, if he plays for a whole year, would be better than Baker Mayfield's win-loss record last year. I think this team's in a better spot, regardless of what happens at the quarterback position, regardless of if it's Brissett for a year or if it's Watson for a quarter of the year. I think they're going to be a better team. Not because Jacoby Brissett's a more talented quarterback than Baker Mayfield, but Jacoby Brissett's what they need at quarterback versus a Baker Mayfield. I've talked about this multiple times. I've made my argument. You can go back and look for it. Basically, it rolls down to this. You could be as talented as you want. You could be as much potential as you want. But unless you are that dude, it don't come down to that. What it comes down to in the NFL for guys who are decent players like Baker Mayfield is, can you fit into a role? Baker did not want to fit into a role in this offense. He wanted a bigger role. That's not what the Browns wanted out their game at their quarterback position. They'd rather have a role player like Jacoby Brissett there than Baker Mayfield, and I think they'll be better off because of it. You could be mad at me for pointing that fact out, but that is what it is, right? It happens in basketball all the time where somebody who averages 20, like Rudy Gay is a prime example of this, right? Rudy Gay averaged 22 points. When the Raptors thought they would be better without Rudy Gay, people thought they were crazy, but it turned out that Rudy Gay and his 22 points were very inefficient and not helping the team win, and getting rid of him made the team better. All right, let's catch up with some of these super chats. Some of y'all just really trying to force a victory in there. But I'm going to keep it real with y'all. If you're looking at this from a football perspective, nobody in the NFL thinks the Cleveland Browns screwed the pooch. They got a 5th-round pick for a quarterback nobody wanted in Baker Mayfield. Because everybody thought they were going to have to release him. And yeah, are they paying $230 million for Watson? Sure, but they don't have to pay that until he plays. So they'll just wait it out. Whatever suspension he gets, they'll wait it out. If it's a year, they're fine with it. If it's 2 years, they're fine with it. They will take Watson whenever he's ready. And they feel like that's a better plan than going with Baker Mayfield. That has been clear since day one. They feel like their organization overall will be better because of this. And I don't think that's necessarily a wrong football-based assumption to make. Just don't. Chris Williams says 2020 had zero crowd noise, and we knew what Baker said about fans and noise. There was some crowd noise in 2020, right? There were some teams that had crowd noise. I don't know if that's – I don't buy the whole crowd noise is why Baker was good in 2020. I think stuff just went right around him, right? The offensive line was good. The run game was excellent. And it was just everything went right. He had the most protection in the NFL. He had the longest pocket time without being touched in the NFL. Stuff just went right around him, and he was able to execute. But that's what it required for Baker Mayfield to hit that level, was stuff needed to go right around him. And that was not a reasonable expectation to have around him, is that stuff would go that right as much as it did in 2020. Got another super chat from Jacob, who says, what do you think we're going to do with the 45 in cap? I don't know how much they have in cap space. I really don't know how much they have in cap space. By the way, can I get a count of how many people are in here right now? I have not checked. I have not checked at all. Let me get a count of how many people we got in here right now. Oh, we got 894. We almost at 1,000. Appreciate that. In the off season, appreciate that, y'all. Really do appreciate that. Let me get a drink of water real quick. You know what I mean? And look, I just want people to remember what the value is on Baker. Yeah, we got 900. Make sure y'all hit the like button, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button. But the Browns are going to go with a combination of either Deshaun Watson or Jacoby Brissett. And that's it. What is this going on here? Yeah. So that is how they're going to go about this. I've kind of already recapped. The Browns gave up a first round. Well, they gave up a first round pick that they gave up on and got a 5th round pick. Again, they gave up a player they weren't going to have to. Y'all are losing your minds about how you guys are doing this, right? Here's the reality of the trade value for Baker Mayfield. It wasn't, oh, Baker's a former number 1 overall pick. Yeah, he was, but nobody wants him. Don't matter if you're a former number 1 overall pick if nobody wants you, right? So the Browns, for a player that nobody was really interested in trading for, there was only one team interested, and you had to do something with his contract by the start of the season, right? Or else you're going to eat $18 million. Browns saved $7 million and got a 5th round pick for a player they weren't planning to use at all. That's just bonus. That's just bonus, right? It's not a tremendous trade consumption, but you can make the argument that they won the trade, or not won the trade, that they got as much as they could have out this whole situation. Jaden with the super chat, you think there's a chance that Cleveland knows something we don't with Watson? Baker playing was never an option, but can't dismiss the timing. Browns were moving like this before the whole deposition thing, and they've been moving like this after. They don't feel like Deshaun Watson is going to be suspended a length of time that's going to be longer than this season. That's how they're operating. That's how they've made moves. And that's how they're going about it. They don't feel like it's going to be that long. Well, I'll be making up shit. Some of y'all just make up shit about me. Like, I'm glad that I'm at the point to where people would care enough to make up shit that I said. But some of y'all just be making up shit sometimes, man. I'll be reading the comments and somebody be like, you said this. I'm like, where did I say that? And they can't bring up the quote. And I don't remember it. And look, I say a lot. I do I've done over 1,000 videos. Maybe I did, maybe I don't. But sometimes I feel like y'all just be making up shit that be coming out of my mouth. Because they don't, so I'll be saying none of this. This don't even sound like me. But some of y'all just be lying on my name. It is what it is. It's part of the territory. Again, it's a blessing to be in this position. Yeah. But again, I see this argument all the time, man. And I'm reading this from a tweet that somebody sent me. Is I don't know why people think he's not good, referring to Baker Mayfield. He made the Browns relevant again. The fact that he didn't quit on the Browns when he tore his entire shoulder and leg room shows that he's willing to try and win at all costs. Big mistake. See, every argument for Baker Mayfield is not about his football. It's about everything else about Baker Mayfield. It is not about what he actually does on the football field. And that's the problem. That's the problem. I get why some of you guys personally like Baker Mayfield. Me personally, I kind of grew old. That shit kind of grew old on me. The whole Baker Mayfield stuff. But if that doesn't grow old on you, that's your jam. That's your jam. But that's why you like Baker Mayfield. But understand there's a difference between liking somebody and like knowing that they're good based on their output on the field. There's nothing definitive with Baker Mayfield, especially in the positive direction with his output on the field. That's just fact. Odafe Owe or Alex Wright says Yeezy for POTUS. I would take Odafe. Okay, where are y'all getting all this information? I feel like people are just, oh boy, we're in the Twitter sphere now. Let me see if Brad's tweeted anything about this. Professor Chaos says not just that, he had to restructure his contract down to $3 million to get it done. I got to check that with some sources before I can run with it. And when I say sources, I mean people I trust on Twitter. Oh, there's been a statement by D and Jimmy Haslam. Let's read it on air. Let's read this statement. All right, so D and Jimmy Haslam, apologize, says, we want to thank Baker for, let me not do the Jimmy Haslam voice for some of y'all get all salty. We want to thank Baker for all his contributions to the Cleveland Browns from the moment he was drafted. He gave all for this organization in this city with this fierce competitive spirit. He excited the fan base and accomplished things that no player has ever done in Cleveland for very. Why are we making it sound like Jerry Rice just retired? This is shit you write for Peyton, man. I don't get it, bro. Can we just say Can we just say the boy was aight? Can we just say that? Can we just say the boy was aight? Because that's what he was. He was aight. We don't got to make it bigger than it was. We don't got to make it smaller. The boy was aight. He was aight. That's it. That's it, bro. That's it. Almighty Kalo says Twitter is going crazy. Browns villain art coming. Man, Twitter going to be off this in like 3 days. And then the Watson suspension or non-suspension is going to come out. And they're going to be on that for like a couple of days and on to something else. No, nobody worried about no damn Twitter. But why do we have this urge to praise something, anything that is not mediocre as if it's why are we so intent on setting the bar so low? Why is it? Why? The bar does not have to be this low, y'all. It does not. I'm not saying put the bar, he's got to be a Hall of Famer for us to talk about him like this. Hell, I'm fine with the bar being, okay, if he was better than Bernie, we got to treat him like that, or as good as Bernie, we got to treat him like that. That's fine. But that man was not Bernie. That man was aight. He was aight, bro. Somebody, Yeezy says Greg Rousseau. Yeezy just trying to troll me into another rant. Nah, Yeezy. Appreciate the $2 though. Trying to get me into a Gregory Rousseau rant. He good on Madden, I bet. All right. All right, man. He also made a difference in the community, whether it was hosting events, Boys and Girls Club, honoring our troops, supporting the Special Olympics, and as well as countless other charitable endeavors. We're grateful for everything he has done for this organization and wish him and Emily well in the future. Hey, congratulations, man. Cool. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to read that and be like, see, they're already regretting Deshaun Watson, because that's the kind of environment that we are in. Pull Robbie Anderson. You're going to have to figure it out, man. Hey, but Rashad Higgins gets back with Baker Mayfield. That's cool, right? Now we're going to have to endure an entire offseason and like people acting like Baker Mayfield's going to be like this great quarterback like they did with Sam Darnold last year. Remember this shit happened with Sam Darnold last year where everybody was like, oh, man, I think the Jets gave up on Sam too early. Oh, let's see what Sam has to do. And where are we at right now with Sam Darnold? We think he's the same trash that they traded. He is what he is. It's been 4 years. He going to have some good games. He going to have some bad games. But at the end of the day, the word to describe Baker Mayfield is he all right. That's the phrase. He all right. He ain't bad. You can do worse, but you can do better. He all right. C+. He all right. He all right. That is it. Why can't we just act like he all right? Why we got to act like he was great? He was all right. All right, man. Carrie Smill says for the $2 super chat, really enjoy your opinions and your conversation. Appreciate that, man. Well, appreciate that. It's a gender neutral name. I don't know how to address it. Where y'all getting this? He gave up $3 million in guaranteed money. For real. Somebody link me the report on Twitter that has that money statement so I can comb through it and see if it was all right. Yeah. But the boy was all right. You know what I mean? That's it. That Engraven, $5 super chat. He all right. Yeah, he all right. Engraven, Engraven better than all right. I say that. Not saying Engraven better than all right. Go check him out. Sub to him. He better than all right. You know what I mean? But Baker, he all right. That's it. He all right, man. He all right. Oh, boy. Yeah, but for real, where are y'all getting this whole $3 million thingy? Somebody said a conditional 5th round pick is not all right. Look, man, he came with baggage. We all know he comes with baggage. AJ Gardner says, can't wait to hear what Skip has to say about this. Oh, you know it's Skip going. Let me be Skip Bayless right now. So, Skip, what do you think about this trade? I think that the Carolina Panthers just got the steal of the century, Shannon. Yes, Shannon. They got the steal of a century because for a conditional 5th round pick, Shannon, it's not even just a 5th, a conditional. That's nothing. They got the best quarterback to ever play at the University of Oklahoma. I'm just saying. That's what Skip gonna do. Skip gonna act like this is gonna be the best trade since goddamn Brett Favre got traded to the Packers. You know how Skip gonna do. Y'all know how Skip gonna do, man. Why y'all acting like y'all don't know what Skip gonna be like? Skip has been waiting all summer for a day like this. And this is why Skip Bayless is one of the greats when it comes to sports talk. Because Skip got all this excitement around football in July. Because Skip is good. You can agree or disagree with Skip, but that's why that boy is cold. Because he got people willing to engage about Baker Mayfield in July. Not just engaging, excited for the TV to turn on tomorrow. That man cold. Colin Cowherd, similarly, right? I disagree with a lot of what Colin Cowherd says, but the fact that a lot of people want to tune in to Colin Cowherd tomorrow to hear him talk about football, a mid-tier quarterback like Baker Mayfield in July is a testament to the coldness of that man's game. Because I'll tell you right now, in July, it's hard as hell to come up with stuff to talk about, let alone stuff that gets people excited. And they out here manufacturing this stuff. That's why they the coldest in the game right now. That's why they get paid tens of $millions, because you can't just put anybody in that seat and make them come up with it. That's cold right there. I'm just putting y'all up on free game. I know some of y'all don't really follow the sports talk space like that, but that's just some free game, man. Second Royalty says, can't forget that 8-3 stretch. Yeah, man, we're going to put that rafter up in the banners. If we keep the ball that low, boy, he went 8-3 once. If we put that shit in the back, like, we can't be putting that in the rafters, man. We can't be doing that stuff, man. Like, hey, man, look, he went 8-3. That was cool. Derek Anderson had a good stretch of games. We can't be out here putting motherfuckers in the sorry, my bad. Putting people in the rafters because they had a good stretch of games. Okay, so Engraven tells me, appreciate this. Sorry I didn't keep it clean, bro. Engraven tells me Browns are paying him $10.5 million. Panthers are paying him $5 million. He accepted to get the remaining $3.5 million in incentives. That boy's agent is an idiot. Why would you turn in a guarantee to incentive base? He just had to get traded. Like, that just must have had to get done so he can get traded. Right? Yeah. So Browns take a $10 million hit instead of an $18 million hit on Baker Mayfield. Cool. Ray Rags says he sent me an ad. I'll check it out. All right, yeah. So this is from Mike Garfolo, who says the Browns will pay Baker Mayfield $10.5 million in salary this year. That's better than I thought they would get. I thought they would end up having to pay about $12-15, which means they trimmed over $8 million in cap space. The Panthers will pay Baker Mayfield $5 million, and Baker agreed to trim $3.5 million of his base salary. So, wow. So, what that sounds like to me, and I could be wrong. Let me preference that by saying I could be wrong here, but this sounds like the Browns and Panthers were deadlocked at a number. So the Browns didn't want to go over 10.5, and the Panthers didn't want to go over 5. So in order to just make the trade happen, right, Baker just said, I'll gamble on $3.5 million. That sounds like, wow, that's what had to happen. And then it was only conditional fifth. That's what had to happen for the trade to happen. Man, he was in a bad situation. I hope Baker has a decent year next year, right? Because I don't want to see him out the league. And if he has a bad year with Carolina next year, he will be out the league faster than people assume. But yeah, I hope he has a decent year like next year, because that's just kind of sad when you read it. That's really sad that it came to that point. Ooh, that's sad. That is sad. Oh, yeah, that's what Second Royalty was talking about when I was doing the skip impression. He was talking about the 8-3. He went 8-3. It was one of the most fantastic stretches. By the way, every time Skip Bayless talks about that 8-3 stretch, it gets better and better every time. Like, he makes that stretch sound better and better every time. First, that 8-3 stretch was good. Then it was fantastic. Then it was the best stretch ever. Like, Skip Bayless, man. Say what you want about Skip Bayless. That boy can manufacture some interest on television. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, what else we got going on here? Somebody added me in that. Appreciate that. Second Royalty says Skip really tired me out on that, plus bashing OBJ. It is what it is, man. Skip just does what he does, right? He does what he does. I try to learn from him, not so I can recreate it, but so I can understand the game that he's playing, right? Because let's face it, Skip, one of the best out there. You know what I mean? Boy been balling. You know you good when you could be on Fox Sports 1 and still be a mainstream name. Because ain't nobody else popular on that network. No offense to anybody on Fox Sports 1, but that's impressive, right? Because we see what them ratings be like for Fox Sports 1. It'd be terrible. So for you to be a mainstream name, that's a credit to the game from Skip, Shannon, everybody else who you know about from Fox Sports well, because it's hard to know about them people over there, because boy, are they irrelevant most of the time. It's dudes from like the internet that are more popular than some of their TV hosts. So, you know what I mean? Hey, congratulations to Skip. Get the bag. Getting the bag. Mike says, how involved do you think the Haslam's decision in for this trade? Do you think Barry was told that he had to get an X before getting rid of him? No. I think the Haslam's knew they were at no point to make any demands about any Baker Mayfield compensation. It was just, hey, man, let's get rid of him before training camp, probably. Ray Rags is the epitome of a C student. Sometimes he gives you an A performance over time. He gives you an F. He's just not consistent on either side. And that's the thing people don't understand about C students, right? C students aren't people who consistently get C's. That's not normally how a C student happens. A C student is a student that sometimes they study for a test, they get an A, and the teacher's happy. Sometimes they study for a test, and they get an F, and the teacher is concerned. Because there's no consistency. Robbie Anderson says he has no issues with Baker Mayfield. Somebody said in the chat box. Okay, but do you think Baker doesn't have an issue with that? We have seen how little it takes for Baker to take something personal. We have seen how little it takes. Just any perceived slight. Baker be ready to get in his bag. A dude saying no when people are talking about trading for you. Oh, yes. I promise you Baker Mayfield took that personally. I promise you. That is 100% something Baker took personally. They going to have to talk it out. Robbie Anderson don't seem like the type of person to want to talk it out. Did you see his live yesterday? Go search Robbie Anderson live after y'all done watching this live. And then ask me if Robbie Anderson and Baker Mayfield seem like the two type of people that's going to get along. I think somebody's going to probably get Robbie Anderson pretty soon here. I almost want to go to Carolina Panthers camp to watch that interaction between him and Robbie Anderson. Because let Baker Mayfield throw one of them balls over his head when he think he open. Boy, Robbie ain't going to have the patience. Robbie is undrafted. He ain't got no patience for nobody, let alone the number 1 overall pick. Them undrafted dudes, man, they different. Them undrafted wide receivers especially, they be different. They be different. You know what I mean? Are they going to do the Baker Mayfield commercials in Carolina now? I don't know. Is he even going to be the starter? I don't know. Mike Laba says, will that last commercial be of him getting evicted? We just going to cut to that progressive commercial, and it's going to magically be Myles Garrett's house. That's what I think is going to happen. I think Myles has already recorded them commercials. If they even do it, I think they probably just don't do them again. But if they do, it's going to be Myles Garrett. Somebody said Troy Aikman was a better OU quarterback than Baker Mayfield. No, that's not true. That's not even close to true. Troy Aikman was barely at Oklahoma. He didn't even start. Come on, that's somebody who does not know their college football knowledge. As much as I make fun of college football fans, I know the history of college football. Troy Aikman did not start at Oklahoma. He got benched for somebody else. And he hated Switzer for the rest of his career because of that. Nah, Troy Aikman was nowhere near. Let's keep it real. Like, I understand why Oklahoma fans ride as hard for Baker Mayfield as they do, because if there was an Ohio State version of Baker Mayfield, y'all would be on that boy like everything, especially if you were from a market that didn't have a team. You know what I mean? Like, Baker Mayfield is legitimately the best quarterback to have ever played at Oklahoma. Not best professional quarterback, but best college quarterback to ever play at the University of Oklahoma. I've always said that. There's a reason there's a statue of him in Norman. Like, he was cold in college. He was the best college quarterback to ever play for Oklahoma. Period. Somebody said that was a terrible Skip Bayless. Look, I'm not good at doing impressions. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you for keeping it real, Daryl. But that's why Oklahoma fans are ready to ride to the death for him. Because what he achieved at Oklahoma fans was not aight. It was spectacular for Oklahoma fans. I get that. For Browns fans, look, man, I know we ain't had aight in a while, but we can't be ready to ride or die with aight. Like, it was aight. Oklahoma fans, I get it. Because let's say JT Barrett was a number 1 overall pick for the Cleveland Browns and was a little bit more talented in college. Boy, would there be a lot of JT Barrett profile pictures in this corner of Twitter? Boy, would there be a lot of people. There's still people telling me that the Browns need to get Cardale Jones. I watched that man throw 5 interceptions in the XFL, and people still tell me that the Browns need to get Cardale Jones. I understand why Oklahoma fans are like that. The people who only know him from Cleveland, you know what I mean? Like, I get it, but I think the bar's a little low. Man. You know what I mean? Let's see where we at. What we talking about? But hey, man, hey, week one's interesting, dog. It's probably going to be Jacoby Brissett versus Baker Mayfield. And boy, if Baker Mayfield win that game, it's going to be an insufferable week. Let me see the schedule. I think we play Thursday right after that, though, right? Let me pull up the schedule here. All right. Yeah. We play the Jets afterwards, which their fan base has been kind of ridiculous. But hey, man, I think Baker's going to be smart enough not to make this more of a story than it needs to. Sometimes Baker's good with that. Sometimes he's not, right? I think he's feeling especially disrespected. So he's going to be real rah-rah before that game. And this team, and look, let's be honest with the people that had the most beef with Baker Mayfield last year, yeah, the offense was not fans of him. And I would say especially the wide receivers, probably not fans of him. But all those guys pretty much got moved out. The people who were really not a fan of Baker Mayfield last year and more vocal about it was the defense. And that's the collision of a century, dog. Like, the defense is going to be trying to prove how much this man held him back and how they felt like he was not that good. And the offense, well, Baker Mayfield's going to be trying to prove everything that he's going to prove the doubters wrong. And this is either going to be a really spectacular game or disaster on one end. Can't wait. If you like seeing fires, there's going to be a fire. I don't know for who. I don't know on what side, but there's going to be a fire week one. Get your game pass. Well, it's a Sunday ticket. This is a Sunday ticket select. I would use your Sunday ticket on this one. And then we play the Jets next week, which, should be very difficult. Oh, yeah, man. We'll be about an hour. We'll go 4 more minutes. But yeah, Baker Mayfield officially traded. Who's the running back in Carolina? Let's pull up their PFF depth chart. Let's see what kind of squad Baker Mayfield going to. You know what I mean? See what kind of, ooh boy, this don't look good. All right, this is just PFF though. Says they have the 32nd ranked defense. Well, not defense. My bad. Offense. My bad. Yeah. All right. Let's see the lineup though. You know what I mean? And look, I know Christian McCaffrey's good, but he'll never be healthy. We'll see. And he ain't Nick Chubb. Let me also make that one point clear. I know some of y'all try to act like Christian McCaffrey is somehow better. Mike Laba opening day Patreon only member party. Nah, I normally do the parties on the channel. We'll do something special for Patreon, but not that. I usually do the watch parties for everybody. Christian McCaffrey ain't better than Nick Chubb. Just say that. That offensive line, it's pretty good on the right side. And then he got DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Maybe has Robbie Anderson. Well, he's an upgrade from Darnold. Oh yeah, somebody asked, do I wish Baker luck in Carolina? Why not? Why wouldn't I? Why would I wish ill of him? I ain't got no personal beef with the man. I just didn't want him playing quarterback for the team that I root for anymore. Why would I want to see him fail? Nah, man. Hope he has a good year. Hope he continues to make money. Hope he continues to use the most of his talents. Hope he realizes the most of his talents. I just wasn't willing to wait on it no more. Somebody else can. And if it realizes, hey, congratulations for them. As far as me, I wanted the Browns to move on. That don't mean I hate the dude. I know y'all try to equate those things, but they ain't the same thing. Boy had to give up $3.5 million to get traded. That's rough. That's rough, man. I feel bad for him. That's humbling. You know how humbling that is? That's so humbling. maybe it's good for him. Maybe it's good for him. All right. Whew. Man. All right. We did an hour. I appreciate y'all for coming in, joining us. I think we peaked at over 1,000, maybe. I don't know. I didn't really keep track of the number while doing this. Appreciate y'all. Ray Rags with another super chat. The defense probably can't wait to finally be able to go full against them. Oh yeah. Most definitely. But y'all have a great day. Have a good night. There will be a shorter video recapping this probably tomorrow morning. We'll do that tomorrow morning just to make sure everything breaks out. But that's it for today's video. Well, today's stream. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Y'all have a great day and have a good night.